Welcome at Skydive Antwerp. My name is Chris van der Velde. In this short video we tell you everything you need to know when you want to come and jump with us at the most beautiful drop zone of Belgium, which is Skydive Antwerp.
Welcome to Skydive Antwerp. Let's start off by giving you a quick situation wrap. In the bottom of this picture you can see our clubhouse and packing area. There's the large airfield and the landing area. And then, finally, there is a bar and a restaurant with a parking lot. There are three important points to point out to you. There is a windsock midway field. There is a second windsock close to our clubhouse on top of our mock-up. And then, during our normal operations, there will be an orange arrow on the ground indicating the mandatory landing direction. Our drop zone is also easy to spot from altitude. It is the green area in the middle of this picture. In our clubhouse there are also some good pictures and a map where you can teach yourself to do this. There are also some good reference points. To the north there is the water purification station. In the south there is the little village of Hoevenen with the church. To the east we have the village of Stabroek, and to the west there is the train station. The highway A12 also passes close to our drop zone, and parallel to that highway there is a power line. In case you have to do an outside landing, if possible, try to do this in the area to the east of the highway A12. If not, you will have a long walk through the harbour of Antwerp. Our drop zone is divided in two different landing zones. Close to the clubhouse, we have the landing zone for experienced skydivers, license C and D. A bit further away, but also a bit larger, is the landing zone for licensed skydivers A and B. Both zones are divided by the location of the windsock.
As you can see, we have a lot of space to land. We have a very safe drop zone, but there are a couple of attention points which you have to take care of. Our landing zone is almost 1 kilometer long. You can use it all. It is bounded on this side by the beer line. There is a fence on the parking lot. We have a barbed wire over the total length on the east side, and then there is a small ditch on the west side in the direction of the highway.
In case you don't make it to our landing zone, there are some special attention points. At the east side there are some farms with hangars. At the west side we have the highway, and further on even some power lines.
As said, our landing zone is limited on the west side by a small ditch. It's not very deep, so the west side has a lot of space for an eventual outside landing. We like it better if you use all this space to land than if you would cross the barbed fence on the other side, on the east side of the landing terrain.
Our landing area is also the landing runway for our drop aircraft. There should be no aircraft on our landing area during the jump. However, after landing, vacate the runway as soon as possible.
This is our airplane. It's a Cessna 206 solid turbine. It has a very powerful engine, and we always mount the airplane when the engine is rotating. So watch out, because propellers, they chop off heads. And that's why we always approach the airplane from the back. Like this. Our airplane also has several emergency equipments. This is our first aid kit, and this is positioned behind the front seat. Also, obviously, our airplane has a fire extinguisher. Our airplane obviously also has seat belts. You can easily open them by pulling the small rope and close them just in the same way. Everybody needs to be attached inside the airplane at least until we reach the altitude of 1500 feet. On the right aft side of the airplane, there is also a yellow hook knife. The hook knife can be used if one of your fellow skydivers, maybe during an emergency, gets snatched with his lines of his parachute at the airplane, so you can cut him loose. You can simply release the door by opening the clip and slowly roll it down all the way. In the same way, we lock the door again. And then we close the seatbelt type locking system. There's a small tip. If you rotate it from the back, very snug, then the door will stay open completely so that we have the full range of the door when we exit the airplane. Our door also has a quick release system. It can be activated by these toggles. If you activate it only in case of emergency, the door gets released completely from the airplane, after which we can jettison it.
So, in normal operations, you will board the aircraft from the back, fasten your seat belts and secure all loose objects. Passing 1500 feet, with the approval of the jump master, you can release your seat belt. In all cases, follow the instructions of the jump master. Furthermore, we have some emergency procedures. First one, in case of turbulence, fasten your seat belts. Secondly, in case the aircraft has to land with parachutists on board, also below 1500 feet, fasten your seat belts. In case of a technical problem, the pilot will call out, out, out. In that case, you always have to leave the aircraft immediately. Or the pilot can shout, problem, jump, jump. In that case, you might leave the aircraft with approval of the jump master, and in any case follow the jump master instructions.
When you have positively identified our drop zone and you have chosen your landing spot, it is now time to start concentrating on your landing. A typical good textbook landing consists out of 3 phases. It all starts with a holding point and an entry point where you start your landing circuit. From there on, you fly a downwind leg, make a 90-degree turn into your base leg crosswind, and then another 90-degree turn will bring you in your final leg and lead you to your landing spot. The shape and the direction of this landing circuit is dependent on 3 things. First of all, the direction and the strength of the wind. Make sure that you always check the flags on the ground before you board the airplane, but also check it again a couple of times while flying around, because this might have changed during your ascent to altitude. Also make sure that you know which are the agreements made by the crew on the ground, so which kind of circuit is expected from you. And third of all, take care of all the obstacles around and on the landing zone. Now we will show you a couple of standard examples of landing circuits. Please note that the wind is blowing from the left side over the figure, so our landing direction arrow will point to the left on this figure. The entry point of your circuit is now situated on the top left side of this figure. You first fly a downwind leg. It is a right circuit, so we take a 90-degree right turn into our base leg and again a 90-degree right turn into our final leg up to our landing spot. With the same wind conditions and the same direction of the landing arrow, a left circuit will look as follows. The entry point is now on the bottom left side of the figure. We fly a downwind leg, a left turn into our base leg and another 90-degree left turn into our final leg. If the wind directions are opposite, obviously the landing arrow will also point to the opposite direction. A right circuit will look as follows: downwind leg, base leg, final leg. Again with the same wind conditions and the same direction of the arrow, a left circuit would now look as follows. We fly a downwind leg, left turn into our base leg, left turn into our final leg. These are the 4 different examples possible. Now let us look one more time at the right landing circuit with a moderate wind, but now in a 3D graph. The wind is still coming from the left side, so our landing direction arrow is pointing to the left, against the wind. The entry point of our landing circuit would be around 900 feet in altitude above the ground. From there we fly our downwind leg to about 600 feet in altitude. A right-hand turn 90 degrees brings us in our crosswind base leg. We will continue this to about 300 feet altitude above the ground. From there on, we go into our final leg against the wind to our landing spot. Each part of your landing has specific requirements, but what we especially want to ask you is that you fly a very predictable and straight landing pattern. This makes it safer for everybody in the air. Especially during your final leg, we expect you to fly a straight line to your landing spot. Have a safe landing.